So I want to ask a question that's been troubling me recently, and that's, is the UK still a place worth living in?
The cost of living is getting so bad that most Britons think it is never going to end.
It's £6.85. I could go to Biggin Hill and collect 7 rescue hens.
You know, life just keeps getting harder and harder in this country.
You're seeing families on here absolutely beside themselves crying because they can't afford it and they're worried about what their kids are going to think.
Hey, the cost of living crisis is hitting McDonald's as well. You can't even get a Big Tasty properly anymore.
Nearly £30 for a McDonald's delivery.
I just paid almost £6 for 3 mini McFlurries.
I have been out the house for an hour, okay? And I have spent £120.
What the fuck is this cost of living crisis?
It's not the cost of living that's killing people, it's the cost of government.
Billionaires in the UK have become too rich, and that's hurting all of us.
So the UK government wants you to stay poor. Fact. And another fact, they want you to stay calm about it.
This is proof slavery didn't end, it just changed form. The world said no more chains, and the financial system said fine, let's upgrade. They didn't remove control, they just made it invisible. Now you don't work for a master, you work for money.
Welcome back to Broken Britain, where we talk about the reality politicians pretend not to see. And today, we need to talk about something brutal. It's not just the cost of living crisis anymore. It's the people running this country who are making survival impossible. Every price that rises, every bill that doubles, every rent that jumps, someone at the top is benefiting. While ordinary people count pennies, the elites count profits. Supermarkets raise prices because of inflation, but record profits say otherwise. Energy companies say global issues, then hand out bonuses worth millions. People are trying to survive, while the elite treat this crisis like a business opportunity. No filters, no excuses, just the truth of why life in Britain feels impossible. So hit that subscribe button, because today on Brit Rants we're asking the real question. If things are improving, why does surviving in Britain feel harder than ever before?
Let me show you how the UK government drains your money from the second you wake up. You wake up in a house you were taxed to buy, and you pay council tax just to live in it. You turn on a TV, you pay a license fee for. You get in a car, tax to buy, tax to insure, tax to fuel. Then you drive on taxed roads through tax zones and tax parking just to get to work. At work, a third of your income disappears instantly in tax. Your employer was taxed to earn it, taxed to pay you, and then you get taxed to receive it. After you buy food, VAT, clothes, VAT, anything, VAT. Try booking a holiday. Airport taxes, fuel taxes, everywhere you look, tax on tax on tax. And when it's all over, they tax you for dying with inheritance tax. It's not the cost of living that's killing people, it's the cost of government.
Most British people are cutting back on food and heating this winter. Check this out, there's new research from Amnesty International, and it shows that 67% of people in the United Kingdom are going to be cutting back on essentials like food and heating this winter. That number increases to 75% for people aged 35 to 54. So this is a massive nationwide problem. We deserve better than this. Remember, folks, this is not about left-wing and right-wing politics. It's about the haves and the have-nots coming together to get rid of these scamming elites who are keeping us all impoverished, hungry and cold. Time to build our fair future.
Rachel Reeves says she's asking ordinary people to contribute more. So here's a message from an ordinary person here in the UK for all of my other ordinary people. Dads, mums, all of you working hard. This is proof slavery didn't end. It just changed form. Back then, people were kept alive because their labour was profitable. You got food, water, shelter, not out of kindness, because a tool has to be maintained. Then Britain said no more chains. The world said no more chains. And the financial system said, fine, let's upgrade. They didn't remove control. They just made it invisible. Now you don't work for a master, you work for money. A new kind of obedience. The money used to have weight though. Silver, gold. Something real, something that meant freedom. Now it's cheap printed alloys. Printed paper, digital numbers floating on a screen, values replaced with the illusion of value. Then came the oldest trick in the financial book, Put your money in the bank, it's safer there. So you do, and they hand you a miserable 3% interest while the UK inflation rate sits at 10%. That means your money doesn't grow, it shrinks. Every £1 you have loses you 10% of its value every year, and the bank only gives you back 3%. You're losing 7% of your money every year just by trusting the system that told you it was protecting you. Meanwhile, banks loan your money to the same corporations that sell you everything. Your weekly shop at Tesco, Aldi, your electricity from British Gas, your water bill, your rent, your petrol, your broadband, your clothes, your heating. It's all rising faster than your wages ever will. You work more, you earn the same. Everything costs more. And when your wages can't outrun the bills, then what? They hand you a debt life jacket. Credit cards, buy now, pay later overdrafts, loans for phones, loans for cars, loans just to handle emergencies that shouldn't even exist, loans to turn your heating on. You swipe your credit card just to keep the lights on. You borrow for food. You borrow, you get into debt just to stay alive. The country that you work to keep running. You're not building wealth, you're plugging holes in a collapsing lifeboat. Then they tell you you're free. They tell you you're free. Free to drown in direct debits, free to work 40 to 60 hour weeks and still panic check your balance every time you get to the cashier at the supermarket. Free to pretend this is a good life. That's what we were taught. Free to be exhausted. You're free to be disposable, free to survive instead of to live. These aren't chains that you can grab anymore. These are the psychological and financial, invisible by design. They squeeze you tighter than metal ever could. You're not free because they said so. You're free the day you realize the system isn't doing you a favor. They're keeping us occupied.
What the fuck is this cost of living crisis? I've come to get my mum a birthday card. I've gone to pick up one and guess how much it was? £5 English. £5 for a birthday card. For a bit of paper from a tree. £5. Saintos, what you doing for a £5 birthday card? £5.
Someone tell me why 4 breasts of a chicken is £6.85. I could go to Biggin Hill and collect 7 rescue hens for free. I wouldn't do that, but I could. That's one meal for my family. And when they're older, I'm going to need 6 chicken breasts. I don't know why I've had 4 children because I can't afford. I actually can't be bothered to do this, so this is what I've got. Yeah, do with that what you will. Bye.
What in the cost of living it'd be cheaper to buy a wig crisis is going on here? In B&M's no less. What's happened to the shampoo prices? Does this include a trim as well? Seriously guys, first it was the toothpaste and now the shampoo. What's going on with this country? Can someone recommend where I can get my shampoo from and don't say B&M?
The cost of living crisis strikes again. Fancied a McDonald's the other day. Have you seen how much McDonald's has gone up? I can't afford that. So I was thinking to myself, how can I earn some extra cash on top of my 9 to 5? OnlyFans. Everyone's making OnlyFans now. Thought me and my husband can set up an account. Make some extra cash. But I thought about it a bit more and it's not going to work out. See, the problem is, the videos would only last 2 seconds and they'd only be released once a month. Back to the drawing board. I will get my Big Mac, one way or the other.
Just when did McDonald's get so damn expensive? I really wanted to try their new menu. I thought I'd get a little couple bits. So I got their new Canadian burger, their new nuggets, and their new McFlurry. Guess how much it came to? I'll give you a second. For 1 large burger meal, for 9 nuggets, not even the box of 20, and their new McFlurry. And of course, add the delivery fee on top of that. £27. Nearly £30 for a McDonald's delivery. I thought McDonald's was meant to be about convenience. The concept of spending that much money for one person is crazy. Especially for something like McDonald's where I know I'm going to be hungry again in an hour. And don't get me wrong, like I've had the menu, it's great, it's delicious, but not that much. It's more expensive than if I wanted to go to sit down in a restaurant like a Nando's or something. I literally looked up, oh, Toby Carvery nearby, £16 for a full carvery. And you want to charge me 30 for a burger? Oh, the audacity. I got so angry I literally walked to Tesco in the corner and bought 2 steaks. I don't cook. McDonald's, you forced me to cook. Also, this has been a problem for a while because I remember it wasn't that long ago, maybe a couple of years ago, where that 20 box of nuggets was like $3.99 at my local McDonald's, varied from place to place. And that was like 7, 8, 9 quid. How are you justifying this?
So the UK government wants you to stay poor. Fact. And another fact, they want you to stay calm about it. Basically, if people really understood how much wealth the top 1% control, this country would descend into chaos. There'd be riots. That's why the system keeps you distracted. Think about current news events. Think about the real headline issues, or the things that should be the headline issues. And then think about the seemingly innocuous events that are taking the headlines and diverting our attention away from the real issues. It's all for a reason. The British political game basically is genius. You let people argue about culture, about flags, about football, about trans rights, whatever you want, whilst the real robbery happens inside the economy. The wealth gap is now so wide that the richest 10% own over half the country's wealth. Get your head around that. The state doesn't need to silence you anymore. It just needs you to keep busy and not noticing. Arguing online, working overtime, chasing bills that are, you're falling behind on. All of these things to divert your attention. You're not meant to question why everything costs more and pays less. It's just basically who to blame for it. And there's always somebody to blame. The real scam is basically convincing people that poverty is all their fault, not policy that's making them poor. That's how control works. They basically gaslight us. It's done through confusion, not chains. So poor people don't lack intelligence. They simply lack the time, the energy, and the options. But all of this is performing exactly as the government intended it to happen. It's all by design. Correct me if I'm wrong. Drop it in the comments. Let me know. Goldman, peace out.
So yesterday I put a video on calling on people from the left side of politics, the right side of politics, the centre, wherever you may land, to put in the comments what you thought the biggest problem with the UK was. Now I went through the comments and I recognised some names. Some I didn't recognise, and I know from what I've seen that certain people have given what I would call left-hand side opinions on other posts. Certain people have given right-hand side opinions on other posts. So I'm fairly convinced that the mixture of people that was in the comments was quite split between the left and the right. Okay, so when I looked through the problems that people were citing, it was the same things. It was the government, it was Keir Starmer, it was the cost of living and energy bills and things like that, and illegal immigration. Everybody named at least one of those things. So it just goes to show you, everyone has the same problems, but the media and the government are putting us against each other. Isn't that crazy?
I just paid almost £6 for 3 mini McFlurries. When did that happen? Remember the days they were 99p for a big one? And I had the toffee crisp, and I don't like it. So that was a waste of money. Now Scott will have to eat it. I haven't got one. But still, when did that happen? McDonald's. What's going on?
I feel the need to have a little rant this morning. I have just finished doing my food shop. Now this week I decided to go to Morrison's because it's closer than Tesco's. I don't have my club card plus 10% off start until next week. So I thought I'll go Morrison's, it's closer. I just want to get it done quickly this Saturday because we've got a busy one. And I am so disappointed. Not in the products, it's the prices. I cannot believe it. Since I used to always shop at Morrison's, and since I've last been here, they have, on products that I used to buy here, they've just skyrocketed, some of them by 50%. And I just think it's absolutely ridiculous. And I just feel so angry with how the cost of living crisis is still going on, still developing. There's still going to be price increases. And some of us can get by, some of us can't. It's and I just feel I'm really lucky that I can just about afford the things that we want to buy. But there are so many people, it just upsets me that I know that can't, and I have family members that are in that position and friends, and it is just so unfair. And I'm just wondering, when is this ever going to change? Is it ever going to get better? I can't see it is. Once prices go up, they tend to not go down ever, do they? And I just, you know, I just wanted to come on here and just express, you know, how I feel about it. I'm sure there's so many of you that are probably in a really tough position, and it's penny to penny every month. And I really feel for you, I do. And is it ever going to end? That's all I had to say, really. I haven't saved that much this week on my budget, and I know I have a good budget for the amount of people I have, so I am very lucky and very, you know, very fortunate for that. But when times are hard and we're all trying to save a penny here and there, and you just feel like you're not getting a break. So anybody else feeling this? I'm sure we all are, but I just wanted to come on here and express how I felt about it this morning. It's a rainy one, as per usual. Look at it. So yeah, I hope you all have a great Saturday. What's everybody up to today?
We're in Sainsbury's doing shopping, and I know he's going to get back to me for making that, but I don't care. Is this a joke? £10 for fucking fair liquid? £10. 10 great British pounds. Please. I'll just be washing my dishes with water from now.
Do you remember when advent calendars were about £1? Do you remember that at all? Because I fucking do. I mean, these advent calendars now, some of them are like £1,000. What on earth is going on? There is so much pressure on people. And with the cost of living crisis as well, it's absolutely beyond a joke. Like, what is wrong with just getting a normal advent calendar with chocolate in it? You know, what's all these pre-Christmas gifts? You know, you're seeing families on here absolutely beside themselves, crying because they can't afford it, and they're worried about what their kids are going to think. Let me tell you something, my darlings. Just having your family around you at Christmas is enough. I remember when I only had one present under the tree and my family, and that was enough for me. Never ever put too much pressure on yourself. I think Christmas now is so over advertised and over commercialised. It is absolutely ridiculous. The pressure that is put on families is a joke. It's beyond me. Like, even food, like the cost of food now is so expensive. Don't let it get you down this near to Christmas. Just you, a couple of presents under the tree if you can afford it, and a chocolate advent calendar is enough. None of these fucking £500-600 advent calendars. I've never seen anything like it. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you are struggling with your mental health or anything because you are worried about this time of year, please inbox me and know that you're enough. Happy mental health, my people.
The cost of living crisis strikes again. I was at the dentist the other day. She's poking around in my mouth. She turns to her assistant, she goes, "Jot this down. Gums in recession." I was thinking, great. Even my gums are in a financial crisis right now. They're not even there anymore. They fucked off. Probably moved to Spain with the rest of Britain, sipping cocktails and dodging taxes.
The cost of living crisis is hitting McDonald's as well. You can't even get a Big Tasty properly anymore. I know we're all worrying about the budget announcement today, and I'm prepping for it right now. I'm just sort of get myself a little bit of lunch beforehand. I think McDonald's are struggling. They're going through shrinkflation. Look, I've just ordered myself a Big Tasty. It's the start of the new promo today. I was like excited. Let's get myself a Big Tasty. It's the size of a quarter pounder compared to a large fries. It's a small Tasty. It's a small Tasty. It's the size of a quarter pounder. It's a quarter pounder bun, quarter pounder meat. There's only one bit of tomato in there, and I noticed when I was ordering it, you can get a double Big Tasty now, but they don't have a Big Tasty with bacon as an option. It's a small Tasty. The cost of living crisis is hitting McDonald's as well. You can't even get a big tasty properly anymore. Ridiculous. I'll be back with a budget announcement soon, guys.
The cost of living is getting so bad that most Britons think it is never going to end. Check this out, there's a new report from the organisation More in Common, and it shows on the eve of the budget that 57% of people in the United Kingdom believe that the cost of living is never going to end. They're feeling down about taxes, they assume they're going up, and they want to see, on the whole, a wealth tax. They want to see mansion taxes, they want to see more taxes on big businesses, they want to see people building off their future. Remember guys, this is not about left wing and right wing, this is about the haves and the have-nots. It's about all of us ordinary people coming together, fighting against these scamming elites who are looking to impoverish at every single twist and turn. Come together, build our fair future.
Do you know, I was watching an episode of Only Fools the other day. Granted, it is like 40 years ago, but Del Boy ordered 2 drinks at the bar. One of his random concoctions and a half-pint lager. 98p. 98p! I can't get over it. Like, you go some places here and that would cost you fucking 20 quid. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I've just been in Tesco and I've been annoyed by the prices, and now I'm still laughing about how ridiculous 98p is for 2 drinks. And may I also add, it is the 2nd of December, and in Tesco they still have advent calendars, and I thought, oh great, because I forgot to buy my boyfriend one, they'll be reduced. Still £7 on Club Card for a fucking Toblerone advent calendar. Are you insane?
Is this a recession indicator? What do you mean this is the main? Main. It's not typo. Main? Main?
What the fuck has happened to this country? £1.40 for a fucking Milky Bar.
Guys, it's 10:30 on a Monday morning and I'm fuming already. I have been out the house for an hour, okay? And I have spent £120. What the fuck is that all about? I get that things are expensive, right? I'm not wanting anything for free. But that is taking the absolute piss. I'm sorry. How the fuck are working families meant to cope? Like, please tell me. See, if you have like 3 or 4 kids, please can you tell me how you're affording it? Because I have 1 child and I'm like, I don't think I can afford to have another one. I can barely afford this child. Like, this is ridiculous. Who do I speak to about this? Like, is there someone I can actually speak to? Because this country is taking the absolute piss out of us. Let's just be honest. £120 I've spent in an hour. I can't even, my mind can't even process that. I think I'm going to need to like rob a bank or start selling drugs or something, because I physically can't. I'm speechless for once in my life. I have no words. That is just ridiculous. I'm sorry, but I'm fuming. And I want a word with fucking Keir Starmer or whoever is in charge, because I'm really not happy about it.
Billionaires in the UK have become too rich, and that's hurting all of us. So we have new research out based on the Sunday Times Rich List, which dropped last week. And in that research, we found that the amount of money gained by the super rich in this country since 1990 is absolutely mind-boggling. So in 1990, there were 15 billionaires in the UK, and collectively they had, when you adjust for inflation, £65.8 billion between them. Now that's a lot of money. It's enough to end homelessness twice with a bit left over. But it's nothing compared to what we have in 2025, which is 156 billionaires and £619.5 billion. That is an enormous sum of money. So the question is, how did they increase their wealth so much? According to the Sunday Times, it's down to the billionaires' quote, gut and gumption. Now, you may not be surprised to hear that our research found something very different, and that is that more and more billionaires in this country are getting their money from property and inheritance. So they're not actually doing anything to get their money, other than benefiting from our increasing rents and deeply dodgeable inheritance tax laws. This is extractive wealth, wealth that is made at our expense and which doesn't benefit society at all. Here's an example of what that looks like. The Duke of Westminster inherited £9 billion from his father, and he paid almost no inheritance tax on that because they had the good sense to store it all in a trust. And his father inherited that money from his father, and so on, right back to 1677, when someone in the Grosvenor family had the bright idea of buying up large chunks of what would become central London, and they've got their money from that ever since. This is how billionaires are made in the UK. Someone in your family buys something in 1677. So sure, lucky him. But this means that the Grosvenor estate and every other billionaire who stores their wealth in property benefits massively from increasing property prices and increasing rents. And that gives them a really big incentive to make sure that our system stays broken and continues to make them money. And that is how you get from £3 billion of inheritance and property wealth in 1995 to £177 billion of property and inheritance wealth in 2025. Over 1 in 4 billionaires get their money from inheritance and property wealth now. That is what a crisis looks like, and that is a lot of people who want it to continue.
So I want to ask a question that's been troubling me recently, and that's, is the UK still a place worth living in, to raise a family in? And I'm really struggling with this because I'm not 100% sure it is. Now, before we go off on the patriotism angle, I love my country. I love the history of my country. I love what it stands for. But my country, this country doesn't feel like the country I was raised in. It doesn't feel like the country of my parents and the country of my grandparents. Something has changed and it doesn't feel safe anymore. And I think the government have to take blame for the majority of that. But it feels like instead of freedom, we've got managed compliance. As long as we're paying high taxes, as long as we are doing as we are told, losing our freedom of speech, losing our freedom of expression, losing our freedom of inquiry. And no one talks about freedom of inquiry that much, but it's so important. We should be challenging the government as per our right, and we just don't seem to be. Like the digital ID petition, nearly 3 million signatures, and the government's response, well, we're going to do it anyway. What the fuck? Like, honestly, what the fuck? And I think we're done with it. I'm going to be honest. I think we need to move away, because I want to raise my kids in a country where they feel free and they feel safe. And it just doesn't feel like it here. And unless something changes very quickly, I think a lot of people are going to come to this realization, and they're going to be looking to do the same thing. They don't want to be taxed up to their eyeballs. They want to have a level of freedom. They want to be able to say what they want to say and express themselves how they want to express themselves without fear of consequence. Just don't think the UK is cutting it. But that's just me. What do you think?
So this is a story that a lot of families in the UK are now struggling with.
Definitely a good salary, which is $77,000 a year. And that's a take home of $3,400 a month. It sounds good on paper, but our rent is $2,000 a month.
This is where it all falls down, isn't it? The cost of housing is eating into people's earnings in a crazy way.
Yeah. And we would never be able to afford to buy because we can't afford to save. We don't have any family that can give us any money. So we are stuck in the renting trap. With it being £2,000 a month, that is obviously most of our income gone straight away. I'm off work at the moment because we have 4 children. I've got a young baby. Because my husband earns $77,000, he earns above $60,000. We cannot claim a single penny of child benefit.
Now, 77k is actually double the median salary in the UK and more than double the UK average salary. So when you think that, you think, yeah, that's comfortable. Probably got savings, bills covered, a bit extra at the end of the month. The reality for this family is it's not true. Now, of course, their rent is over 58% of their take home, leaving $1,400 for everything else. And the sad thing about this is the family now feels trapped in the renting sector, with the likelihood that any pay increases will be eaten away with tax and potentially rent rises. And I suppose this is why you see crazy headlines like this now becoming more common since the budget.
This is a public service announcement. I need to let you know that toilet roll is £6.50. And the Andrex is, Alex Crothers, tell everyone how much it is.
£11.
£11 for Andrex toilet roll. We are in a broken Britain.
So I have just paid £9.85 for these 3 things, right? All from Sainsbury's. I just got this bag because I went to Boss Man to get some snus. £3.50, something £3.45, something like that. £2, reasonable. Now, this was £6.50, which does obviously make up a lot of the price. But with Nectar, it was like £3.45. So I don't know if my maths is right, but this cost me about £9.80 something. It was definitely £9.80 something, so I might have got a price wrong, so it doesn't add up. How fucking insane is this shit, the world we live in? This is why, I steal. when I'm at the self-checkout, I'll always take an extra thing because, like, the cost of living, it's like I want some ginger because it's like TikTok said it was good for me. This because it's like good for me. And this, some raspberry, some yogurt, and some ginger, tenner. What the fuck? But if I want a triple pack of Mars, big bag of crisps, loaf of bread, I could probably get a shit ton more for a tenner. It's a fucking joke. This is why I steal, and I encourage everyone to steal from Tesco, Sainsbury's, not like independent places like a Boss Man shop, but like a Tesco. Take something extra for yourself because it isn't right.
What in the broken Britain cost of living bullshit is this now? So I've came to McDonald's because the kids asked me, Dad, can we have a breakfast this morning from McDonald's? Yeah, no worries. So I came here, they wanted an extra hash brown. Have you seen the price of these hash browns? Take a look at this. So here we go, just to show you, hash browns on sides. $1.99 for one single hash brown. That is incredible. They were, what were they, 79p? No more than 12 months ago, 79p. Let's take a look at some more. $3.39 for a single egg and cheese muffin. Wow. They were $1.79. Toasted muffin with jam, $2.69. 100% they were 99p before. Even these are taking the piss. The ketchups and that used to be free. 10p each now. What the fuck is going on? Medium milkshakes, $2.99. Someone shoot me down now. This is getting out of control. As you can see, McDonald's are now taking the full-blown piss. This is incredible. McDonald's, sort yourselves out.
You know, life just keeps getting harder and harder in this country. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I work all day, 5 days a week, and I can barely even afford to get a takeaway anymore. Same for me. You know, it used to be that most people working a 9-to-5 job, 5 days a week, could afford a moderately nice quality of life. Like they could own their own house, go on holiday a few times a year, maybe even get a conservatory. Not only that, like a lot of people nowadays are in shared accommodation and public services just keep getting less and less money. Yeah, most of the money seems to be going to such a tiny percentage of the UK, and it's only getting worse and worse every single year. And they're taking the money from the rest of us. And it's all because of these bloody refugees, billionaires. What? What are you going on about? Explain. Well, the 50 richest families in the UK own more wealth than half of the country. That's over 35 million people. Well, what does that have to do with most people in the UK getting a lot poorer recently? In the first year of COVID alone, most UK billionaires increased their wealth by 500 million. And since the pandemic, most UK billionaires have over doubled their wealth. And I still borrow my cousin's Netflix password. But isn't it much easier and simpler to blame refugees for the worsening economic situation than it is to fairly tax billionaires? But fairly taxing billionaires would massively reduce inequality, improve the economy, and provide massive funding for the NHS and infrastructure. Well, that's not the narrative that I've been told to believe by the media and politicians funded by billionaires. They've all encouraged us to blame an enemy or a group of people for the worsening economic situation, specifically refugees. Well, if you really need to blame a group of people for getting us in this worsening economic situation, Wouldn't the actual enemy be more likely the people with all the power and the money who are constantly trying to distract and divide us so they can maintain their power and become ridiculously richer every year? Well, that's quite difficult to logically argue with. Thank you. However, I am a little racist, and blame refugees is a lot easier and simpler to fit onto a sign. But then you logically don't believe in your arguments, right? You know fundamentally that you're wrong. Well, if anyone challenges me about it, I'll just tell them very loudly that I'm sticking up for women and children. Specifically the white English ones. Well, it seems like you're not just far right, you're also far wrong. Tax refugees! Allow billionaires to become a lot richer every year, making the rest of the population poorer, and then blame someone else for the economy not growing.
Yes, people, so I'm in the biggest fucking Poundland you've ever seen, and I'm here to ask a question, and the question is anything in it a fucking pound? Anyway, I've got my transportation getaway vehicle there for later, just in case I start doing a bit of half-inching. Well, Jaden, Layden, Caden, Aiden, Staden, Layden, Maiden, Caden could all get some toys. There are some for £2, but there are some ones for £1 as well. Boxed it. Something for the ladies there. Don't say I don't treat you. You got your council house ready meals there. If you can't be asked taking the kids to the kebab shop, £2. There you go. Jobs. A good one, but none of it's a pound, ironically. Well, Captain Birdseye is saying yeah to £1 and £1.50. That beats fucking £8.75 in Morrison's and robbing cunts. Pint of milk less than £1, bargain. Pot noodles £1. If you don't want your kids growing up scabby hanging fucking horrible cretins, you could feed us some fruit instead of fucking loading them up with calories from Mackie D's. They used to sell alcohol in this one. It was there, but it got robbed to fuck by all the fucking scally hanging Roy Dead XL bully cunts, so I got to buy this shit instead. Luckily I've got 15 cans in the fridge.
Bruv, some man just went to buy a can of Coke. A can of Coke. Guess how much a can of Coke is now in Sainsbury's, bro? £1.60. £1.60 for a measly can of Coke. Boy, it's a sign for man to stop drinking sugar, because that is madness. £1.60 for a can of Coke. One can.
Is it me, or like is things getting more and more pricey? Because honestly, I'm just like, food's expensive, drinks expensive, just to breathe is expensive. Like, what the fuck? Outside is expensive. Who told me to be outside all summer thinking I had endless money? And now I'm just like, shit, summer's over, winter's approaching. I'm in Baroque. Good thing winter's done. I can't even speak. Good thing winter's coming, because I'm staying in my yard. I'm not going outside. I have no money. Like, what the slut? What am I gonna do? I need money. I can't survive like this on noodles and just water. No, this can't run. I need something miracle. I need something.
Let's speak honestly, because the truth is darker than most people want to admit. The cost of living crisis isn't just a temporary struggle. It's becoming a permanent condition for millions, a way of life, a cycle people can't escape. And what makes it even worse is that while ordinary people are breaking, the elite are thriving. The top 1% in the UK increased their wealth again this year. Major companies raised prices far beyond their own cost increases. Energy firms posted record profits during a winter when families shivered in their homes. Supermarkets blamed inflation while reporting billions in extra revenue. Landlords hiked rents because everyone else is doing it. This is not a natural disaster. It's a system designed by people who will never feel the consequences of their decisions. Right now in Britain, over 7 million households are unable to afford basic essentials. More than 60% of renters are spending over a third of their income just to keep a roof. Food prices remain 20 to 30% higher than pre-crisis levels. Over 3 million people rely on food banks, many of them working full-time. Mental health services say stress linked to money is at an all-time high. This isn't a small crack in society. This is a national fracture. People aren't struggling because they're irresponsible. They're struggling because everything around them is spiraling out of reach. And the worst part? The system expects silence. It expects people to endure. To accept that being overworked, underpaid, and constantly anxious is just how life is now. But it shouldn't be. A country is judged by how it treats its ordinary people, not how rich the rich can become. Right now, Britain is failing its people. Not gently, not quietly, but brutally. Families are cutting back on heating, switching to cheaper food, selling belongings to pay bills. Parents are hiding their stress from their kids. Young people are giving up on dreams of owning a home. Workers are pushing themselves to exhaustion just to survive another month. This is not stability. This is not progress. This is not a recovery. This is survival mode. And survival mode is no way to live. You deserve better. Your family deserves better. This country should be better. And until the people in power stop treating the crisis like complaining, until corporations stop using struggle as a business model, until the elite feel even a fraction of the pressure ordinary people feel every day, Britain will keep breaking, but we won't stay silent. Not here. You've been watching Brit Rants, where we say the things politicians hope you never question. If this hit home, if this reflects your reality, then make your voice matter. Hit subscribe, drop your rant in the comments. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Survival shouldn't be the British dream. Thriving should be.